The American Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, was one of the most defining events in United States history. It began as a struggle over the future of slavery and the balance of power between state and federal governments, but it grew into a fight for the very survival of the nation. The primary cause of the war was the issue of slavery, particularly its expansion into new territories acquired by the United States in the West. Southern states relied heavily on slave labor for their agricultural economy, especially for cotton production, while many in the North believed slavery was morally wrong and wanted to limit or abolish it. This sharp difference created growing tension throughout the 19th century. Events like the Missouri Compromise, the Dred Scott Decision, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act only deepened the division. The situation reached a breaking point after the election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860. Lincoln opposed the spread of slavery into new territories, and many Southern leaders saw his victory as a direct threat to their way of life. Before he even took office, 11 Southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America under the leadership of Jefferson Davis. The North, led by Lincoln, refused to accept secession, arguing that the Union must be preserved. The war officially began in April 1861, when Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter in South Carolina. What followed was a long and brutal conflict that divided families and devastated much of the country. Major battles such as Antietam, Gettysburg, and Vicksburg became turning points in the war. Both sides suffered extraordinary casualties. Over 600,000 soldiers died, making it the deadliest war in American history. At the beginning, President Lincoln's main goal was to preserve the Union, but as the war continued, it became equally about ending slavery. In 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate states were free. This gave the war a moral purpose and prevented any foreign powers from recognizing the Confederacy. By 1865, after 4 years of relentless fighting, Union forces under Ulysses S. Grant defeated the Confederate armies. General Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse, marking the end of the Civil War. The aftermath reshaped the nation completely. The results of the Civil War were profound. Slavery was abolished through the 13th Amendment, and the United States remained a single, united nation. However, the South was left in ruins, its economy destroyed, and its social structure transformed. The post-war period, known as Reconstruction, sought to rebuild the South and integrate newly freed African Americans into society, though true equality would remain an ongoing struggle for generations. In the end, the Civil War tested the core ideals of America: freedom, unity, and democracy. It resolved the question of whether the nation could endure divided, and it forever changed the meaning of liberty in the United States.